In this video, we are going to find out how far the standard range version of the Ford F-150 Lightning will go on a full charge of battery at a constant 120 kph or 75 miles an hour. You may think this is a dumb car to test on the channel, and I don't care because I freaking love this thing. But furthermore, pickups are actually very popular in Norway, and an electric one is actually relevant for a lot of people. So there. Maybe not that dumb after all. After 15 minutes on the road, our average consumption is 38 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is insanely high. Yes, in the beginning of this test, we are climbing a little bit in elevation, so typically the consumption in the beginning after about 15-20 minutes is higher than the rest of the trip. So we'll see once we get to our halfway point what that drops down to. But according to the wind map, we do have a push in the northward direction of about 2 meters per second. So, I mean, the conditions today are pretty decent. It's 10 degrees Celsius outside, dry roads, so we'll see. But this is a large, big, full-size pickup truck, and yeah, what else were you guys expecting? But I'm curious to see if this car, has any decent highway or motorway range when the battery is fully charged, going at a constant 75 miles per hour or 120 kilometers an hour. But let's just continue on the test, guys, and I'll see you in about an hour once we get to our turnaround point. An hour later of listening to American country music and also Norwegian country music, or better known here in Norway as bygdemusikk. Yeah, I've been enjoying myself, guys. This is a side of me you may not know about, but yeah, I really enjoy country music. But yeah, after an hour, 35 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers is the consumption gotten down to, which is a lot better than when we started. Because to be honest, I charged the car to 90% in, and if the consumption would have stayed at like 38 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, I don't think we would have had enough use to get back. But yeah, we are halfway now, 35 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we're a little over half battery. I can't find like a number readout for the percentage, like it looks like we're like at 51 or 52%, but I can't find a readout for the actual percentage, which is really weird. So yeah, let's turn around here and then let's start moving back towards Oslo, southbound on the E6 motorway. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself in this large F-150 Lightning, guys, and driving on Norwegian country roads like this, or country highway, yeah, it really feels at home here. And I've been seeing a lot of pickups there on the road. I've seen a few Dodge Rams, or just Rams they're called now, and also Ford Rangers are popular here in Norway, and a lot of, like work trucks. But yeah, I'm enjoying myself. So let's see what the consumption is, what the results will be once we get back to Oslo. So again, an hour for me, but just a few seconds for you. After yet another hour of country music, we are now approaching our exit. We're approaching our final destination here at the end of the test. But before we do that exit, we're doing 120 kilometers an hour now, and the cabin is very quiet in this F-150 Lightning, which is really impressive. I wasn't expecting it to be this quiet and comfortable. It really feels like a luxury car to drive on the motorway, except, you do feel that this is on a body-on-frame chassis because it's not the best over, really bad bumps, but for what it is, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think that like 2.9 tons almost of curb weight really does help, button down the car and settle it. But we are now back here where we started, and let's connect to a charger over here and see what charging speed we get, and actually start rating right now. So let's drive up to this charger here. This being a European version of the F-150, the charge port is actually on the front right side and not the left side. So let's show you guys the average consumption thus far. An hour and 53 minutes on the road, and average consumption, ended at 36 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. This being the European version of the F-150 Lightning, it actually has the DC charging port here on the passenger side.
The guy from Ford told me that these cars are built in the US and then they're exported to Germany and then they are converted to be certified for the European market. So that does not happen at the factory. So this is kind of, an American car that is converted, and that is true for all of these F-150 Lightnings that come to Europe. But as he said, is that the DC charging port is on the passenger side in the European cars, but originally they are on the driver's side with the American CCS port. I think that's called CCS1. Here in Europe, we have the CCS2 standard, and then they do a whole bunch of different things. So we connected here to the charger at 8% stated charge. And what's curious to check out is that the Mustang Mach-E with, a battery pack that is almost as big as this one actually peaks at 150 kilowatts, which this car should. But after a few minutes connected to the charger, it actually dips the speed down. So let's take a look here. We connected at 8%. We've now been connected for 9 minutes here. And yeah, we are getting almost 150 kilowatts at 30% stated charge. So that is really nice to see that even though this car, doesn't maybe have the highest peak charging speed, it actually has a very flat charging curve. Well, thus far. I'm going to do a charging test with this car, and although, my typical test, the range test, the long trip test, the charging test, and a full review, so you guys, can see how this car performs, because it is a huge car. Look how big this car is. This car is pretty insane on Norwegian roads. But before I jump in and give you guys the results of today's test, I just want to give a huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Elton, which is an all-in-one charging solution if you live in Norway, Sweden, Finland, or Denmark. Because one charging app with one payment method lets you charge at almost all charge point operators in Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. And Elton are actually giving away 1,000 kroners worth of charging this month. So if you have the app already, just go to the link down below and register your phone number. It is super easy. It takes you guys like 2 seconds. But if you're not, go to the other link and then download the app and then register your phone number, because you can win 1,000 kroners in charging, and that is pretty awesome. Now for the results. So if we take the usable battery capacity of this car, the F-150 Lightning standard range, it's 98 kilowatt hours. We divided by the consumption, 36.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then subtract 3% in heat loss. That gives us a theoretical range under today's conditions of 264 kilometers or 165 miles, which, to be honest, isn't great. But it's not too bad either, considering that this is the standard range version. So this has the small battery pack and just the sheer size and scale and weight of this car. Yeah, this is a huge car, and yes, I was hoping for more range, but also the conditions today, which are better than it has been for the past few months. It's still relatively cold outside, only between 8 and 12 degrees Celsius, and I think, once it gets even warmer, this car can perform better. And also there's another caveat about this car. So the car I was supposed to pick up this morning, which was the Ford press car, actually got damaged from the previous loan. So they had to give me this car, which is kind of like an internal demo car, last minute. So this doesn't have the cover for the pickup bed, which would probably give it better aerodynamics and more range. So that is just something to consider. And also the standard range is the only F-150 Lightning available in Norway thus far. I also think in Europe. There is also, an extended range in the US that has a much bigger battery pack. And if this car had that battery pack and we got, the same consumption, the range would have been a lot more, way above 300 kilometers. So that is something to consider if you want an F-150 Lightning and you want to go far. Yeah, that's probably the version to go for, because going at 120 kilometers an hour, 75 miles per hour, probably is the worst case consumption scenario for this car. And I think that in my long trip test, which has a little bit lower speed, this is going to do much, much better. So look out for that test. So guys, let me know what you think about the results in today's video. Are you disappointed, or do you think it's okay, or do you actually think it's good? Let me know in the comment section down below. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.